The protesters came from many groups that have little in common other than their hope of drawing the attention of world leaders.
The march included Kurds protesting against Ankara. There were also communists, and still other groups chanted against capitalism. Protester Bunya Guinot said she was amazed by the size of the crowd.
And it's very important to come here to say we have to do much more for the climate, for the refugee problem, why people have to go away from their home countries.
Police in riot gear flanked the protesters, but most of the officers looked relaxed and did not intervene.
NPR's Soraya Sarhadi Nelson in Hamburg. And in the Mediterranean, at least 20 people are missing and feared drowned after their boat sank off the Libyan coast east of Tripoli. The Libyan Coast Guard said fishing boats rescued at least 80 people who have been clinging to debris. Those rescued are from West Africa. One of the rescued men appealed to others not to try the crossing themselves.
Yeah, this journey was such a terrible and disastrous journey. All I have to say is to advise don't to waste their life in search of going to Italy. Because of our greed, we want to make money in abundance.
More than 85,000 migrants have arrived in Italy so far this year. And that's the CBC News. Stay tuned to CBC Radio 1 and visit cbcnews.ca.
For Montreal, clearing overnight with a low of 16 degrees. A mix of sun and cloud for Sunday with a chance of showers in the afternoon with a high of 23 degrees. A few clouds Sunday night with a low of 17 degrees. For St. Sauveur, clearing overnight with a low of 9 degrees. A mix of sun and cloud with a 60% chance of showers in the afternoon with a high of 19. Sunday night, a few clouds, increasing cloudiness near midnight, then a few showers with a low of 11 degrees. For Mont-Tremblant, clearing overnight with a low of 9 degrees. A mix of sun and cloud with a forecast for Sunday. There is a chance of showers in the morning and early in the afternoon with a high of 19. Becoming cloudy near midnight Sunday night with a chance of showers overnight with a low of 10 degrees. Clouds overnight for Mont-Laurier with a low of 9 degrees. There's a chance of showers in the morning with a high of 18 degrees. Increasing cloudiness Sunday night with a low of 11. Clearing overnight for Quebec City, 14 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud with a chance of showers and the risk of a thunderstorm for Sunday with a daytime high of 22 degrees.
It's time for the laugh of the day. Here's Ryan Hamilton with a classic Country Mouse moves to the big city story.
I live in New York City now, and when you move from Idaho, very smooth transition, I gotta say, first of all. I find that New Yorkers understand that places like Idaho exist, but really don't believe in them. You know, I might as well be from Narnia in their head, really. I get this a lot. Where are you from? Idaho? Why? I don't know. That's where I done been born. That's why. That's where God done birthed me. And then I flip my suspenders and I run away because I'm scared of them. I see things in New York that I didn't see growing up. I saw this guy on the train wearing cat-eye contact lenses. That was his look. Just looking like a cat for the day. That was what he was into doing. I've never seen anyone back home in Idaho tooling around on their tractor looking like a cat.
That's Ryan Hamilton with your laugh of the day.
The positions of Canada and the United States are quite different on a key issue, the issue of climate change, and in particular the Paris Accords.
Climate pressure. World leaders are teaming up to take on Trump at this weekend's G20 summit in Hamburg, Germany. The U.S. president has promised to pull out of the Paris climate deal, but can the G20 -1 get the U.S. on side, or can climate consensus be reached without America on board? Good morning, I'm Catherine Cullen, and today on the House, Environment and Climate Change Minister Catherine McKenna is here to talk about Canada's climate pitch at the summit. And then,
So this is a time for, reconciliation and hopefully not forgetting, but, moving on and healing.
Omar Khadr may feel that this is a time for healing, but news that the federal government is paying him millions of dollars has stirred up fresh anger at him, even disgust. We'll dive into the Khadr debate and hear more from Omar Khadr himself as well.
I think we need a leader that is confident, that is chosen somehow by grassroots people, and ultimately someone that has a heart for this issue, and I don't know if this person does.
She's talking about the head of the inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. After a wave of resignations, delays, and challenges, this week the commission publicly laid out its path forward. But is it enough? We'll speak to the head of the Ontario Native Women's Association about whether she still has faith in the process. There's plenty to get to, so let's get to it. The House is now in session. It wasn't that long ago the United States was leading the charge in the fight against climate change. But with Donald Trump in the White House, it's a very different story. World leaders are meeting at the G20 in Germany to talk about that fight and where it goes now that the United States has said it's walking away from its commitments under the Paris Accord. Will those 19 other leaders leave the U.S. behind or find a way to bring Trump on board? And where does it all leave Canada? Joining me from Grand Prairie, Nova Scotia is the Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Catherine McKenna. Catherine McKenna, welcome back to the House.
Hi.
So what do you think the best case scenario is that Canada can hope for when it comes to the United States? Because clearly they are backing away from the Paris Agreement. You can't expect them to come on side. What's the most you can hope for?
Well, look, it's a priority for our Prime Minister that we have a communique, that we have a document that recognizes the importance of the Paris Agreement and climate action. He's there representing Canada, and Canadians know that climate change is real. We're seeing the impacts, but we also see the economic opportunity. And I think the Prime Minister is going to play a really key role. He's been clear, and we've been leading on climate action, and he wants to see that reflected. But at the same time, we have a strong trading relationship with the United States, and we've worked hard on our relationship there. So I think he will try to also bridge the gap with the United States. So, getting recognition of the Paris Agreement and the importance of climate action by maybe 19 out of 20 countries, but at the same time recognizing the U.S.'s position and hopefully bringing all countries together to say, we're going to move forward on climate action. We understand that there is importance to the environment, but it's also important to the economy and jobs.
I'm just trying to understand what that means for the U.S. position. I mean, you're saying sort of G20 19 plus 1, but what does that one have to say? Do you want them to recognize that climate change is a threat? You want everyone else to just acknowledge the U.S. is going to go its own way? What are we talking about?
Well, I think, look, the U.S. has been clear they're not going to be in the Paris Agreement. So that creates a huge challenge. I'm someone who believes it's better that we try to come together. So I think it's better that there's a joint statement where all the different countries are united. There's going to have to be some recognition that the U.S. is not part of the Paris Agreement. That's just a fact. But I think that, and I think the Prime Minister has been clear, we are all in when it comes to climate action, that's the way the world is going, and we need to recognize the Paris Agreement so that we could do that. And then also the U.S. I mean, my conversations to the United States, they're not unlike the rest of the world. They want good jobs they want to grow the middle class, they want to grow the economy, and they understand that we're moving to a low carbon future. So these conversations are very difficult. It's a negotiation. But I think the Prime Minister has a unique role, that he's been strong on climate action and the Paris Agreement, but also we have a relationship with the United States, and we want to try to bring them into this conversation too.
Help me understand what's at stake here. I mean, at the end of the day, I think, the idea of a communique doesn't get the blood of the average Canadian boiling. Why is this important, or is this just another meeting where world leaders are talking? What's significant about this when it comes to climate change?
Well, I think what you want is you want the leaders to say that climate change is real and that we need to act, and the Paris Agreement is really important mechanism to do that. It's really important that we're acting together to do the Paris Agreement. And I think we need a strong statement on that. you have to take a different position, that's fine. But I think that would really like to bring all the other countries in. And we've been clear, we're hosting in September a ministerial meeting. We're co-hosting with China and the European Union a ministerial meeting to talk about how we're going to work under the Paris Agreement and tackle climate change. So we're not going to back away from that. But I think there's also a way to bring the United States in as it tries to, figure out what direction it's going, to recognize that we need to reduce our emissions. We all need to do that. And that there's an economic opportunity in jobs. So these things are hard. And I know for the average Canadian, it probably seems a bit abstract, but it's actually really important because I have 3 kids. And we're already seeing the impacts of climate change all across the country in Canada and all across the world. And we're not going to back away from climate action, irrespective of what one country does. But, we also, want to try to bring them in. And I will say about the United States, that you have seen that states have really stepped up, that cities have really stepped up, and that businesses have stepped up in the United States saying we're taking climate action. We believe in the Paris Agreement, and so we're also working with them as well.
I do want to ask you quickly about the pull that the United States has, because there's some speculation about other countries, Saudi Arabia notably, perhaps taking a bit of an example from the United States. Are you worried that they are going to bring some other countries along with them as they back away on certainly on a national level from the Paris Agreement?
My view is that the other countries have been very strong. You've seen China, you've seen the European Union. I'm not going to speculate on particular countries, but I think it is important that Canada has a role to play, and the Prime Minister has very good relationships. He's been to a number of these meetings already, and I think he's going to work really hard to bring people together to stand firm on climate action and the Paris Agreement, because that's the right thing to do. It's also what Canadians expect him to do.
Obviously, nobody would challenge your belief in all of this, your conviction. You've been working hard at it. But at the same time, when Canada is speaking about this on the world stage, and you don't have all of the provinces, even within our federation, on side, the situation with Manitoba looking at its legal options, Saskatchewan, doesn't that hurt your credibility when you try to make a case for this?
No, I actually think that, hard things are hard. And in Canada, actually, we have every province and every premier understands that climate change is real and that we need to take action. And while there are a few provinces that have differences, of views on one particular thing, putting a price on carbon pollution, which we think is the right thing to do, and we have businesses supporting us and Canadians supporting us, we're actually mainly on the same page. And I think that we have shown in Canada how you work together. That there's no point in yelling at each other and, not taking action because you have differences of opinions on particular things. You just have to work a little bit harder. And we have worked extremely hard with businesses, with environmentalists, with provinces, with Indigenous leaders, and with all Canadians to bring them on side. And I'm extraordinarily proud that Canadians are stepping up and they want to see climate action and they understand the economic opportunity, because if we don't take this action, it's not just about the future of our planet. We're going to miss out on the biggest economic opportunity. It's in the trillions of dollars. And I'm right now in Nova Scotia, and I am seeing amazing action in Nova Scotia to tackle climate change, but innovative solutions when it comes to using tidal energy. A clean source of energy using the ocean.